Well, that is true. So Jahari and I had a chance to go through a lot of the business plans for what you have currently up on Ag Plan. And again, we're still missing a lot of information from a lot of the plans. So I really encourage you in the next week or so, next 2 weeks, to really get up there and kind of finish your pros information for your narratives. We're working on some general information as far as marketing and stuff that you can utilize. You don't have to come up with all that information. We have a general description of some things for the spend farming. So I really just need everybody to get there and get their own personal stuff, their personal vision up there so that we can compile the plans together. Okay? So what we're going to do tonight, we're missing a lot of people, so I don't want to go over a lot of stuff tonight that they're going to miss tomorrow. We're going to have to repeat ourselves. So we are going to start with everybody get a chance to bring their receipts with them tonight. How many of you brought their receipts? All right, well, let's care of that part of the exercise. So we will start a little bit. You guys are going to bring your receipts tomorrow? Yes.
I took a picture of some of our receipts.
Some other receipts.
I don't have the physical copy, but I do have pictures of them.
Okay.
I don't know if that was it.
Yeah, well, if nobody else has, we kind of won't get too far on that exercise right now, but I'm going to explain what we need to do tomorrow. So again, this is part of the problem since we have a very finite period of time. We're at the point.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We're really at the point where we really need you guys to start meeting these deadlines. Otherwise, you're not going to meet the deadline to get these plans done. Okay? So I need everybody. Okay, so I need everybody to start bringing their receipts or anything that's requested because we have a... I'm sorry. Which one is this?
Time to pray. That's what she.
Okay, so I need everybody to bring their receipts tomorrow so you can start working in the financial portion of it. If you don't bring them, that's fine. It's your choice, but you are on your own as far as completing all the data for the financials, and you can work with Kent on that. Okay? So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to start talking about the accounts. So, Summer, were you able to find staplers or not? Nope. Okay. So we don't have a stapler. I'm going to go ahead and pass out some examples of
Try to get my final report, so just pass out. And also, we're going to be passing out a flash drive for you. And so we're going to be passing out a flash drive, and for you to get this up. Is that enough?
No, we're just going to pass this stuff. I'm going to give them all the flash drive so she can pass those out. No, all four of those are yours.
Just all he keeps all four?
Yeah.
We pass them.
You're good sharers, but you get your own.
Yeah.
We just don't have a space for it.
That's mine.
Oh, that's yours.
Don't worry about being there. So, close that out. She's got a hard copy.
Yeah, we're not getting into ad time right this second. So you should have a Windows calculator in case you don't have a calculator in your purse or bag or don't want to add them up by hand.
You can look at it. Yeah, you
Down.
Not bank accounts, but actually doing accounting records. Okay? Somewhat? A little bit?
Elementary.
Elementary, folks, is fine. If you remember, that's great. Elementary school.
No, I mean, double.
Basic.
Assets and liability.
Right, assets and liabilities, income and
That
expenses.
thread together,
Yes.
dual entry or whatever they call it.
Yeah, well, double entry or single entry, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So how
Cooking
many?
the books.
Huh?
Cooking the books.
We don't cook books around here. We only cook them. Okay. So how many of you guys are familiar with Quicken or Peachtree or QuickBooks or even Hands? Okay, yeah, a few people. Anybody familiar with any other accounting system? Peachtree or even spreadsheets? Quicken a little bit? Okay, and which version are you guys using? Deluxe? No, the ones who aren't using it. Another one we have here. Which version are you guys using?
QuickBooks.
You're using QuickBooks itself. Okay. Huh?
You said currently.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah.
Now, you guys going to stay in QuickBooks, or do you want to convert over to Quicken? Yeah, so you currently have your accounts and everything already set up. Excellent. So you can help everything else. And when do you work with it?
Oh, I just heard of
You just, but you haven't worked with it. Anybody else working with QuickBooks? Okay. All right. And you work with Quicken at all? No. Not. All right, so what we're going to just be doing, what I did is just a sample chart of accounts right here. So for those of you who are, so if you guys already have your chart of accounts, you don't need to worry about changing them. So maybe you can help other people may have some questions about what type of accounts to add. So this is just a sample chart of accounts out of just a generic farm company or operation. So I just want you to go through and take a look at each one of the line items. These are your standard basic income and expenses. So your income is, again, your revenues coming in, and your expenses would be your cash outflows going out. So this is kind of the basis of our worksheet of what we're going to start putting into the system tomorrow. Okay? So as it goes down, it has the name of the account, and then it has the type of account, whether it's a revenue account, an asset account, okay, or an expense account. We're talking pretty much just the expenses and the income tonight. And then it has a description of what the account is. Okay? And then just for your own information, you can see the tax line on Schedule F. So you guys remember when Hansons were here before. So once you get it into a program like QuickBooks or Quicken, you can assign it the tax line so you can see at any time what your taxes would look like prior to even going to the accountant. Okay, you get an idea of what it is. So what I'd like you to go down through these accounts and just mark yes if you're going to think you're going to need, because not everyone's going to need every single account. Just mark the accounts that you want to show up in your profit and loss based on your operation. And if you're not sure, you can just put the question mark. You can put a check in the question mark column. Okay? If there's other accounts on here, like if there's other sources of revenue, and you know, UCAT will probably have some other sources of revenue than what's on here, then you can go ahead and write those accounts on that last page. You can write them in, and then to let me know whether it's an income account or an expense account. So this is going to help us just plan for tomorrow, so when we get ready to set up your company files. Okay? So if you guys see anything on there that we might be missing, that everybody confused, then we might be. We're using the worksheet sheet again just because it's easier to put things in the worksheet when you're first getting started than to put them directly into an accounting system, because when you're working in an accounting system, things don't delete out like they do on just regular computers. You just can't go in and say, delete. Okay? It affects a lot of other things as well. We're moving up in the world. All right? Here's stable. Trick test. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get into some detail tomorrow, but basically, what are some accounting terms that you guys are familiar with? Tell me.
In the red.
Is that an official term? Is that an official accounting term? It's in the red. Okay, what else? Huh? Okay, what's accounts payable? What's accounts payable, Rose?
The bills, things that you use.
The bills, absolutely. So again, we would type of account on the sheet that we were just looking at. The expenses, exactly. Okay, what other accounting terms are you familiar with? Accounts receivable, which is? Okay, well, not necessarily. You will eventually receive it. What's the difference between accounts receivable and income or revenue?
Accounts receivable is money that you're waiting for.
Accounts receivable is money you're waiting for. Okay, so you may have sold something and then you didn't get the money for it right away, so therefore it becomes an accounts receivable. Versus income or revenue is what you actually have received. Okay, so what are some of the dangers of accounts receivable?
Not getting your money.
Not getting paid, exactly. So you want to be really careful about your accounts receivable because chasing accounts receivable can cost you a lot of money to chase the money. Okay, so it can cost a lot of money to try to go chasing after money. So you want to really be careful about your accounts receivable, which is why people do credit checks. Okay, what other terms are you familiar with?
Debit and credit.
Debit and credit. Okay, so what's a debit and what's a credit?
The debit is opposite of the credit.
That's exactly right. You also have another definition.
One is on the right and one is on the left.
One's on the right, one's on the left.
It pretty much corresponds with the income and expenses.
It does correspond with the income and expenses. It just kind of depends on what you're doing in the accounting system and whether it's going to be a debit or a credit. So we'll get into more detail about that tomorrow as well. What else? What other accounting terms?
Owner's equity.
Owner's equity. What's owner's equity?
That's after your expenses and your income doesn't get much.
Okay, not necessarily. That would be what after your income minus your expenses would be what? Not owner's equity, but your net profit. Okay, that's your net profit. Owner's equity will be after your balance sheet, all your assets minus your liabilities. Your owner's equity would be if you had profit in the previous year, that's part of owner's equity, but anything you put into the company is also owner's equity. So if you invested $5,000, that's owner's equity. Okay, that makes sense? And then if you made, say, $5,000 a year, now you have $5,000 you put in, plus the $5,000 you made, so now you have $10,000 in owner's equity. Okay, so the owner's equity builds over time, where net profit is just your revenue minus your expenses for that current year or that current period. Okay, what else? You guys are doing really well. Other
Net growth.
net to grow, net profit versus gross profit. So what's the difference between net profit and gross profit? So we know what net profit is, but what's a gross profit?
That's before expenses.
Before taxes, before growth, expenses.
The net is what you actually catch, and the gross is what you think you will get.
No.
Opposite.
No? Okay, so let's back up a second. So we have our income, right? Which is our revenue coming in. What's cost of goods sold?
That's an expense.
It's a type of expense, but cost of goods sold is?
What you pay for items that go into what you sell.
Exactly. So it's a cost of selling your goods. So any direct cost will be a cost of goods sold. So in your case, it could be the seeds. Okay, it could be the direct labor. It could be anything that goes directly into what you have to do to make the product, grow the product, manufacture the product. That's the cost of goods sold. So your income minus your cost of goods sold is your gross profit. Yes?
Is this similar to operating costs, or is that just a portion of operating?
Well, then after cost of goods sold and gross profit, then you have operating expense, admin expense, general administration expense. It's all the same thing. It depends on what you want to call it. So you either have operation expense, general administration, G&A. They're all they're the same thing. Okay? So after you have your revenue minus your cost of goods, which is your direct cost, then you have all your indirect costs, which would be those operation expenses. Because those are typically the ones that are they're most fixed sometimes. It's overhead. You guys heard of overhead? So that's what they're also calling overhead. Okay? So you've got what it costs to make the product, but then you have all of the other things. Salaries, administration, insurance, interest, all those types of things, advertising, all of those are overhead, which has to be added to the cost of goods. Okay? So your gross profit is just revenue minus the cost of goods. Other terms. showing those?
Income and loss.
Income and or profit and loss.
Profit and loss.
So profit and loss and income statement is the same thing. Then you've got your statement of cash flows, and then you've got your balance sheet. So let's take them one at a time. So what's the income statement take care of?
Income and expenses.
Income and expenses, right? Exactly what it says. So you have your income minus your expenses, get your net profit, like you just talked about. What is the balance sheet?
Assets and liabilities.
Assets and liabilities. So we have our assets minus your liability plus the owner's equity would all be on your balance sheet. And what's cash flow? Cash flow statement.
Listing of your income and outgo of your tax.
Okay, so it's in revenue or money in and money out, right? So why do we have both the income statement and the cash flow statement? Why wouldn't they be the same thing? Isn't the income statement both our revenue coming in and our expenses going out? One's cash and the other one is? I just can't checks. Checks. That's okay. No, I'm partially deaf, so it's not you. So if I ask you to repeat yourself, it's the same.
Okay.
Okay.
But I was just saying, I don't know if my answer was right.
That's okay. But one is cash.
What is the
It is money on hand, exactly. But sometimes, remember we talked about it earlier in this section, we talked about you can have a profit on your income and expenses on your income statement, but you can have a loss, you have no money, right? Because you have non-cash expenses such as depreciation, which is going to show up on your income statement, but it will never show up in the cash flow because it's a non-cash expense. Okay, so the cash flow is actually cash, money in, money out, where income shows income versus expenses, and you can take non-cash expenses. Make sense? Okay. Any questions right this second? So that's the base we're going to start with tomorrow. But please bring your receipts. If you don't want to bring them, just you can work in the ag plan on the narrative. So we have went through earlier this week and last week, and I can see even tonight, a lot of people were scrambling, come like 6:09, 6:10, 6:11. Some people were in tonight as well. So just, fill in anything else that you can think about or bring it with you, and you can do that tomorrow as well. So we'll start working on getting your company file set up. But the first thing I want to do is just start to tally everything that you have spent so far this year. Okay? And if you don't have all of it, that's fine. Do you have a lot of cash receipts?
I have it all, or at least a lot.
Is it already entered? Yeah.
I have a keeping log.
Okay.
And I put it in there.
Okay, so we can just pull it out and then just tally it up for you, right? Okay. Anybody else have a lot of cash receipts?
I have receipts also.
Okay.
I do a lot of cash receipts.
I may bring the neat receipts down tomorrow.
Oh, well.
So anyway, so bring what you have. I have the neat receipts program at home, so I'll try to bring it and see if we can install it. We may be able to install it and we can scan the receipts in, which will make things a little bit easier after you organize them. So that would save a little bit of time.
Kamal has a big box full of receipts.
Okay,
He brought a box over like this big to go through them.
so we are done for this evening. So bring anything that has to do with finances though tomorrow, please. Okay? So travel safely, and I will see you